And we're back. And so it's time to continue with catching up on all the stuff that has happened since we've been covering other things. So next up, some other releases, and there's some things here that I think people were like, why is this being released? But some things I think were actually kind of cool. In the category of why is this being released when it was re-released not all that long ago? Yeah, Marneus Calgar. Why do we need a new Marneus Calgar model?
I mean, it is one of those things where it is like a GW tradition to release a new Calgar model like every 2 years. So I'm kind of okay with it. This is like his fifth model. It's fine. It is a cool looking model. They had not released any Primaris lieutenants in a little while. So, Year of Chaos, people.
Yep. I saw a meme. It was like 3 units for the Voton, 5 units for the Chaos, but all of them were deceived. For the Space Marines received 80.
No, my favorite one is the Simpsons, Lionel Hutz thing. It was Year of Chaos, no Marines. And it's like, no, let me correct that. Year of Chaos, question mark? No! Exclamation, Marines. Yeah, it's fine. I get it. They're a business. They're going to release the models they want to release. They're going to release the models that sell. I do really like all of these new Space Marine models. Like this Calgar model's awesome. Like it just really is. The Vitrix models that we haven't talked about yet, like they're awesome. Like the new, Sicarius, like they're cool freaking models. So I don't know. It is what it is.
I mean, they look okay. So no question, they look nice. I have a feeling like the timing may have been a little off because something tells me that they wanted to kind of release the Marneus Calgar like a week or two after Space Marine 2 came out because he shows up at the end of the game, and it's like, yeah, you probably you didn't want to release him the day of because spoilers, but
Sure.
at the same time, it's like how long? What is the right release schedule for it? You don't want to release him in the middle of the Year of Chaos, like the summer Chaos releases, because that would look really bad.
2 weeks. The 2 weeks of chaos.
2 weeks of chaos. No question, he's a great looking model. He's like what the fourth or fifth Marneus Calgar we've had. Going as we talked about the history of models from like years ago, but it is still kind of a I really didn't expect them to drop this, and it was also announced like weeks before, so people had a lot of time to be like, really? We need a new Marneus Calgar? I guess we're getting a new Marneus Calgar. He does look good, no question. The Vitrix Honor Guard, I do think it's kind of a bum though that it used to be you bought Marneus Calgar and the Vitrix Honor Guard. Like they used to be a combo. Now, if you want that same combo, it's like $120 to buy the 2 boxes, which is oof.
I do like the fact that like the Vitrix are now their own unit. Like they're basically just an Ultramarines elite bodyguard unit that isn't specifically tied to Calgar. So it feels like they have a little more utility than just being like part of that unit. So, I would prefer obviously cheaper models, but I don't have too big a problem with them being separate.
Yeah. Now, let's talk something. I don't think this one has gone up for pre-order yet. Like, I think they did they've got a new Ultramarines upgrade set, but that is different than the upgrade set that we're about to talk about. So if we're being coy, it's like, okay, so what are we talking about? A new Space Marine headset was announced. Now, these kinds of conversion kits are always kind of a mixed value because they tend to be more expensive than they are more than the sum of their parts, or less than the sum of their parts, I guess. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. This one is all heads. Now, a quarter of those heads are varieties of helmet and really Ultramarine specific with the way they're doing like the Roman head crests. So these are practically Ultramarine heads, but maybe not exactly. There's a couple of Terminator heads. There are some Terminators like heads without the full Terminator helmet, but they've got like the bracket, like the neck piece that would be like helmetless Terminators. There's a number of faces that have like the lower face mask from a Space Marine helmet. There's a couple people with like cybernetic, like half cybernetic heads, which would work nicely for like your Iron Hands and such. And then there's like 25 like barefaced heads. And oh boy, has this led to some controversy. And you would think, how could this be controversial? Their heads. Well, it's that a few of the heads, and it's not even most of the heads. A lot of the heads are pretty standard Space Marine stuff. Now, we can argue about the quality on some of the sculpting of them and how much of this is due to the sculpting, how much of this is due to the paint jobs. But there's a number of the heads that I would say are non-binary in nature.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the like how best to frame this. I don't want to say they are necessarily female Space Marines. Also, something that may get a lot of people mad at us, I don't have a problem with female Space Marines. If people want to model Space Marines as like, that's the great thing with the lore. It's like people will argue that like, well, no, the lore has always said this. Yeah, the lore also used to have Inspector Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau. So
also, and I'll just say this as well, none of this is real.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that people always forget. Like, well, there's never. I'm like, none of this is real. It's all fake.
It's fiction. It's
fiction.
It's just fiction.
Here's the thing. Looking at these female Space Marine heads, because you know, I couldn't find the Warcom article, so I had to go to Spiky Bits.
I'm so sorry.
I know, but yeah, like the whole article here is like female Space Marine heads. Oh my gosh, and it's like looking at these, it's like they're androgynous at best. Like they're not, or because here's the thing, and this is the thing, like, and I know it's a little controversial to say, like, immediately after saying it's all made up, so it's all fake, but, like, if you're going to go through the lore, Space Marines aren't really male either, because they're transhuman. Like, they've gone through all of these surgeries and stuff like that, like, they're not human anymore. They are post-humans. So, they're not what we would consider genetically male or female. They're, like, so, like, does it matter? None of these heads are overtly female or overtly male. They're just they're just face options. Like, you can paint them how you want. Don't use the ones you don't like. It's very easy. I don't use open, unhelmeted Space Marines, because even if you are an 8 foot tall transhuman like super soldier, getting shot in the face still sucks. So put your helmet on. I've seen Saving Private Ryan. Like, keep your helmet on. So I don't know. This is the dumbest. Well, one of the dumbest things I've heard a controversy about recently. Makes me very tired.
Yeah.
The helmets look cool though. Like, I like that there's a helmet upgrade sprue. Like, it's good. Like, it's good to have more options.
Yeah.
The value's, of questionable value, but yeah, like, it's good to have more options.
Yeah, and like, how much of this is driven by like, well, this is how they were painted by the studio. They might look different under different paint jobs. It's a tempest in a teapot kind of thing. You know, I'm not going to make. I think if this is the thing that makes you angry about the game, you probably have deeper issues that you need to address.
Yeah,
and of course, we still have people who are really, really mad about having female custodies in the game.
A thing that has never been stated anywhere was not possible. Like, unlike female Space Marines, where they have like explicitly said, nope, we take male Space Marines because we need the, made up sci-fi X chromosome, whatever, thing to be able to do the upgrades. Sure. Okay. There's at least a lore explanation why there's no female Space Marines. That does not exist for Custodes, and it never has. So yeah, whatever.
And and also, there's always the option that Belisarius Call may have fixed the glitch, when he started.
Right. Yeah, it's not like they haven't changed the lore before. It's fine. Like, reading one of my favorite things, because Snipe and Whip just put out a review of the Book of the Astronomicon, the first like Rogue Trader supplement, and it is mind blowing how much the game and the lore has changed, and how much it changed like between Rogue Trader and that book, and then that book in the Realm of Chaos books. It's always in flux. It's always changing. GW is just like any other corporation. They will do whatever they can to sell models, because that's their business model. Like, if female Space Marines are going to sell, they'll put female Space Marines, and they'll figure out a way to put it in the lore, because they can. If you don't like it, don't engage with it. Like, there's corners of the lore where you just like, okay, just don't engage with that. I don't have a Grey Knight's army of like, slathered in sister blood because that piece of lore is stupid. But like you could if you wanted to. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. It's all out there. Just pick and choose the stuff you want to use.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I will say I would probably skip this upgrade set myself because like I want I'm playing a Blood Angels army, so like the few that don't have helmets, I'll have the beautiful but fanged like Blood Angels heads, which these don't. Also, like honestly, on a lot of them, I like the sculpting isn't the best I think they've done. It's okay. It's okay on a lot of them. There's
fine.
a few of them where they're, especially if they've got their mouths open, some of them have like weird, like shifty, sneery yelling, and it's like that. But I do like that they have a lot of different skin tones that they've painted these in, and they've tried to go for like different. They don't look all like the same face over and over again, but they also do look, they all have like steroid loaded weightlifter face, if that makes sense. But that's because that's what Space Marines would be. Like you said, they're so loaded with things that like Space Marines aren't human anymore, and I think that's the important thing. So it's like, and that's the best thing. This is an upgrade sprue. If you don't like these heads, if you are somebody who is actively made uncomfortable by these, and as I said, that says more about you than about the heads, but if this is something that makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to buy these. This is an upgrade sprue.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like that some of these heads are somewhat androgynous and you're like, no, my Space Marines are all He-Man male guys.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's what the standard kit is. Or just put them all in helmets. Like nobody. And if you want more clearly female heads, like first off, I do like the fact that some of these heads you could use if you wanted to do female Space Marines. They definitely look like, got female like weightlifter face. But also if you want heads that are more clearly, like more traditionally feminine, that's what heads off of like some of the Stormcast work really well for. I've seen some fantastic conversions use Stormcast heads on like Custody bodies. So like there's options to model whatever you want.
Or there are a ton of people making alternate heads that you can 3D print. Like, options galore. What I also love about just in general the whole female Space Marine debate, which God I hate so much. They're like, well, if we're going to make female Space Marines, they have to look female. It's like, no. If they're 8 foot tall transhuman super soldiers, you know what a female Space Marine looks like when they have their helmet on? They look like a Space Marine. They don't have to have boob plate armor and all this. Like, the whole point of this is that they are super soldiers. It's fine. I can say that I have a unit of female Space Marines right now because I have a unit of Space Marines with their helmets on. And hey, you know what? These just happen to be female if I want them to be. Like, it doesn't matter. It's so, this is the dumbest argument.
Yeah.
I hate that.
So,
yeah.
And I think that, again, the thing to remember, as we've said on the show before, your hobby is your own. If you want a hobby and say like, I don't like these heads and I don't want to use them, don't use them. If you like these heads and you're like, this is exactly the look I'm going for, use them. Cool. If you're like, this doesn't go as far as I want it to, and I'm going to do something else, do that too. There are very few wrong ways to hobby, and this is not one of the wrong ways. Like, this is, use these if you want, don't use them if you don't.
Yeah,
that's really all it comes down to. Let's see. We have other stuff that has come out. We have a captain on a jump. Like, we do have a new jump captain with options. Specifically with a relic shield, which we've had a jump captain before. I've built the jump captain, but we didn't have a jump captain with the relic shield.
Well, and it was interesting how they chose to release this because it's technically one of the Warhammer. It's the 40K Warhammer Day model, but like it's also not limited. It's going to just go into circulation, which I thought was a interesting way to do it. It's a cool model. It's got options. Relic shield's good. Like, it's one of those things where, like, yes, I make fun of all of the Space Marine releases that we get, and, like, why do we need 18 different versions of Primaris Lieutenants and Captains? But also, there's a bunch of options for them. So, yeah, having models to fit those options is good. So, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. And it's like we didn't have a jump captain with a Thunderhammer before this. The jump captain before could take a power sword or a chain sword, and had access to like hand flamer, plasma pistol, like because it was released kind of alongside the Blood Angels release,
Hmm.
but we haven't had somebody with a Thunderhammer and a relic shield. And so this is he's got a Thunderhammer or I believe a power sword option as well. Yeah, or chain sword and Thunderhammer, and then
Yep.
helmeted or not helmeted. So yeah, again, it's just good to have options. It's the same price as the other captain. It's not the first time we've seen like, hey, the two kits with that make the same unit but with slightly different loadouts. I think I remember the Eldari Autarch model had the same thing going for a little while.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's fine. He looks good. Other characters we've had released: Canuck Var for the Iron Hands, who is available standalone and is not part of the combat patrol, which is good because we want people to actually buy him. Apparently,
Everything bad that they've done to Iron Hands players with the Combat Patrol is almost undone by this model, because this model is dope.
yeah.
He is so cool. I don't even play Iron Hands, and I might pick him up just because it's such a cool freaking model. I don't know, it's great. It's the I guess only the second named character that Iron Hands actually have, so they have more of a blank canvas to kind of lean into like what they want special characters for Iron Hands to be, and like this just looks cool. Like it's good.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen a power Tetsubo, which is just
Just cool.
And like they gave him good rules. He's in Terminator armor, so he moves like a Terminator. He's got a Storm Bolter and his power Tetsubo, which and also we'll get to how they released the rules for him, but he does like they released a data sheet for him standalone. They've released a data sheet for the other character. They've released Subiden Khan, who is locked inside his combat patrol, unfortunately.
For now.
For now. He will eventually be available as a separate purchase. But, I mean, both of those, it's nice to have, I think at this point, all of the first founding chapters have at least a named character. Some have more, because, like, Salamanders have 2.
I think they all have 2 now, because Raven Guard have 2 now. Yeah, I think they all have 2 now.
Yeah, they all have 2 now. So
that's good.
So that's it's good. It's good to see those getting support as kind of like full standalone side factions. And so that is a good thing to see as far as fully fleshed out. And there's a ton of Space Marine armies out there, but at least these ones have named characters.
Yeah.
As far as combat patrols, we've talked about the Ultramarines one, which we like. Like the new Ultramarines one is a good one. The new White Scars combat patrol is okay.
Yeah.
Again, it's got the problem of it's stuck with a named character, and that is always an iffy choice for a combat patrol.
I like that it is, it's themed around movement. It's fast. It goes, it moves, which is what White Scars are wanting to do. Yeah, the locking the character behind it stinks. And because it means you can't really double up on it, it means that there's not really a lot of value unless, you could convert, him into, another character or whatever on a bike and just say that, like, yeah, he's on an Outrider, but he's riding a jet bike. But is there a captain on
no
Outrider at this point? I think the only character that goes on Outriders is the
chaplain,
the chaplain. Yeah. So if there was a captain option on a bike, still, like, you could pick another one up and then kit bash character to put on there. But yeah, it's putting named characters in these sets is always an iffy proposition.
Yeah, it really is. And also, that one is not temporarily sold out. It is sold out online. They have sold their entire stock of that combat patrol.
Yeah.
So, because I think they probably didn't produce a bunch of them because they all have a named character in them.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be out eventually on his own, I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah. And like the bike looks cool. The jet bike looks cool. So
yeah, he's got a pretty cool bike, and it comes with a set of assault intercessor, like 5 assault intercessors to sit in an impulsor, and then it has a unit of 3 outriders. Like, it's very White Scars, so like thematically, it's on point. No question there. You'll notice that the Iron Hands one has not sold out. And that's because it's terrible.
Yeah.
We knew it was terrible when they announced this like weeks ago. We covered this on the show, so no big surprise here. It's heavy assault or 10 heavy intercessors, a tech marine, and 2 of the fire strike servo turrets that nobody
Mm,
wants. It is
yeah.
such a it is the worst combat patrol because it is a combat patrol that is like it is like heavy intercessors aren't bad. I've seen people get work done with heavy
Yeah.
intercessors, but it's just the rest of this is just such a weird combat patrol. Don't like it. Not a fan.
Yeah. And it's like it's also like not particularly good value either. I'm kind of calculating it all up right now. And the so it's 2 units of heavy intercessors, which are 65. But I don't know, it's not a very good value
Yeah.
compared to some other ones, and it's not stuff that you use. Like
Yeah.
the fire strike servo turrets are just bad and don't particularly like stand out to me as like being iron handsy. Like I don't know, it just instead give me put a dreadnought in there, give me a redemptor instead, and this would be a lot better.
Oh yeah,
Or the
definitely.
melee version, not the Furioso.
The
Whatever they're calling
Brutalis.
the Brutalis, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever they're calling the melee version, because it all has to be unique names.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't want to belabor that point, Tony. It's not good.
Right. As far as other things that are up for pre-order now, I was surprised how fast the Archon, the one that was in the Real Space Raiders
Yeah.
box, and normally those you wait like a couple of months before those are available separately. That one's already available for pre-order as of this weekend. So
Yeah.
that was quick, but I mean it's good. That's good for Drukhari players who already have it existing, which means they had the boxes ready to go. I wonder if I'm curious how well the Real Space Raiders box sold. I wonder how many people bought it or didn't buy. Like, I want the Archon, but I'm not going to buy this for just the Archon when I have all the other stuff.
Mhm.
So I wonder if that kind of encouraged their decision there. Some other things that were interesting to see is they are carrying through on what they talked about when Kill Team came out with like the new version of Kill Team came out, and they said we're going to do rotating seasons and kill teams are going to rotate out and they're going to stop being available as kill teams, but we are going to keep them in 40K. And
Yeah.
so we've seen a couple of like the Deathcore Krieg and the Orc Commandos have rotated out, but they are now available as standalone 40K boxes. And now we are seeing that with the Legionaries, which is actually with the full upgrade sprue included for them. So like the not a sorcerer caster that they have in there and all the other upgrade stuff that's available, that is now a separate 40K box instead of being a kill team box. They also did it with the Traitor Guardsman. And on the one hand, I like what they did with the Traitor Guardsman. On the other hand, I don't like what they did with the Traitor Enforcer, because when you in Kill Team, they were one box called the Blooded, and it was like $70 for a box of them. Now the Traitor Guardsmen are a kit by themselves, and they cost $53, which is the same cost as the other infantry squads for Guard. So they cost the same as Death Corps, as Cadians. I think Catechins are cheaper, but that kit is ancient. But for the newer ones, it's the same price, which I'm very happy with. That box has a lot of options for building, and I'm already sitting on like 4 or 5 squads of Traitor Guardsmen for my eventual Traitor Guard army, but knowing that I can buy more is great. The Traitor Enforcer is a separate model along with his Ogren Bodyguard, because they are on one sprue. They were on one sprue back in the days of Blackstone Fortress when they were a box that was released by itself. I don't like them for $55 for 2 models.
No, that's a bit egregious.
Now, granted, I don't like the Archon for 40. I think 40 is a little bit, but at least he's a multi-part model with options.
Mm-hmm.
The Traitor Enforcer they are both monopose. I think the only option you get on the Ogren is, do you want him to wear a gas mask or not? You get no options on the Traitor Enforcer. He is fixed.
It feels like this could have been an opportunity to, and granted, I don't know the economics behind it or whatever, but yeah, like put out a multi-part like Chaos Ogre kit to do things like what they had to kind of mirror like what the Ogre kit does, or at least the Enforcer with like separate you know non-power fist arm. Like you could easily have done, I think, a few upgrades to this, but I don't know the economics of that, so
Yeah. Yeah,
it feels like a missed opportunity.
yeah, I'm not terribly happy with that one. And then they did release a new Red Gobbo for their the yearly
Yeah,
Christmas model, which the Red Gobbo models are always fantastic. And this one, he has a tin boy that he
yeah,
has built and is
tin
dragging
boys
along
are
his.
awesome.
Yeah. So love this one. It's would you use it in game? Probably not. Is it got a lot of character? Absolutely. Fantastic Christmas piece.
Yeah. Well, you
And
can add it into your Grot Rebellion army, man. Like,
yeah.
it looks great.
Yeah. And so I think that finally gets us through all the things that have been released and kind of what impact it's likely to have on the game. There have been a couple of changes in rules and how rules are presented. And this one hit originally on October 8th, and they had updated it again on the 22nd as some Kill Team stuff got rolled in. Oh, and I do want to mention there was a Kill Team box that was, I think, announced over in that time. And it was the
Dead Silence?
yes, Dead Silence. Yeah. So they announced Dead Silence, which they're finally updating stealth suits, and they look good.
Yeah. No, they look amazing. I'm interested to see what they do with that unit, because previously it was a 3 or a 6-man unit.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily work in Kill Team, so it'll be interesting to see if they change the unit sizes, if it goes to 5 and 10. What other like specialist options they give them, because there was a few that were like shown in the preview with like no details yet.
Yeah. Like
So
we have
I'm
names on them. There's like the neutralizer, the designator, the liberator, and they're definitely carrying extra bits of war gear. There's one that's actually carrying a teleport homer or a homing beacon, not a teleport homer, but like a homing beacon. And it does look like it includes a new homing beacon. New drones that don't have antennas sticking out, which I'm a fan of, having broken so many drone antennas.
Yeah.
I do like that. And it's not just stealth suits though. It's stealth suits versus versus wolf scouts. Now we've already had a scout kill team, but because wolf scouts are veterans rather than newbies, because Space Wolves only put their older, more experienced veterans in as scouts. And again, you have a lot of options here. They have pack leader, a fang bearer, a frost eye who looks to be like a sniper of some sort, a gunner who has a plasma gun, trap master who looks like a melt-a-mine or something like that he's lugging around. A rune priest skald, so like a lower level caster of some sort or psyker, and then a hunter. These all look to be in like reverse style, like Phobos armor, which makes sense. They're scouts. So having like Space Wolves have their own scout caster is neat, and they include a Fenrisian wolf for the kill team as well.
The bestest boy.
Bestest boy. And I also do like, I think we mentioned this in the last episode, because we did mention this because we were talking about how like Farsight has like an XV86 suit, and we talked about how the stealth suits went from like XV15 to XV25. These are XV26. They're using this as the opportunity to like, this is the new iteration of the stealth suit. We have improved upon the design. So that is cool that like fluff wise it is updated. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with the new stealth suits. I'm wondering, let's see, are the old stealth suits, I mean, I imagine they'll be available until they're not. No, the old Tau stealth suits are, I think stealth suits have been officially retired. So
interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be the new replacement. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm good with that. The old stealth suit kits
they're very
old.
dated at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. These appear to be so much more dynamic.
Yeah. Now these look really good. I'll be curious to see because as all of these get rolled in, like new rules will be added, hopefully that will cover some of their war gear options. It looks like they're still pretty much using the same guns, burst cannons, and fusion blasters. So they'll probably slot in nicely with
Yeah.
existing cell suits. But yeah, I dig it. I'm excited to see it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about the rules changes. So on October 8th, they announced that your downloadable Warhammer 40,000 faction rules are changing. Basically, they have compiled all the rules documents for a particular faction into a single faction pack. That includes any detachments they released for that faction outside of their codex. That includes any errata. That includes their legends units and any Imperial armor data sheets. So anything that's not legends but is like a Forge World style unit but is still
Hmm.
considered legal. Also, this includes any other data sheets like some of the ones that like when kill teams have been updated. So like if you look at the Orc one, like they've got the Break of Boys and Tank Bustas in there because they're updated based on the kill team. The Necron one has the new Canoptic Circle team in it. If we look at the faction packs for let's see, like Emperor's Children, that one's pretty short. It's just the errata.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a ton of stuff in each one. It depends on how big it is. Death Watch has the biggest one because they've got their entire index in there. All the indexes have been combined. So like Chaos Demons, I believe, the Chaos Demons one has their full index and all the detachments.
But yeah, it's great to just see like a one-stop shop, and like here it is. You click this file and download it, and you'll have everything for your faction to a degree. We'll get to that in a
Theoretically,
second.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
to a degree.
yeah,
But like
to a degree.
the theory of this working is fantastic because rather than having to go in and download all of these different documents and all these different versions, you go to one place, you click one file, you get everything for your faction, all the data sheets, all the new detachments. Fantastic. Like that's great. So yeah, very happy about that.
Right. Now, this does not include the points. The Munitorum Field Manual is still a separate document,
Yeah.
but they did combine it with the Legends Field Manual. So there's no longer two of those you have to download. You just download one, and it's all the regular points up front, and then at the end, it's all the Legends points. So they've consolidated the number of documents there. The rollout of this has not been perfect. When the first set came out, there were a couple of things that were not properly updated or that had not copied over or were left out. They've addressed that, like I think within the same day or two, or like a day or two, they had it all figured, they had that fixed. They did another update on the 22nd, which I think was also kind of the correction and cleanup. And that's also when more stuff was added as far as the new kill team stuff, because the Death Watch kill team was added because we have a new, like besides the fact that there's the entire index in here, they did add a new kill team called the Decimus kill team, which specifically reflects the kill team models from the Tomb World box set.
Yeah.
So that is new. And then they added to Imperial Agents that same unit, but they called it the Aquila kill team. So there's a new kill team available there. And that's in the Imperial Agents faction pack. So again, it's nice to know, like, okay, I can just download this faction pack and it'll have all the new stuff in it. That's really good. I do really like this. It has not been perfect, even outside of the not everything getting updated. When on the 22nd, when the new stuff hit, the faction packs hadn't been updated, but the app was. So like the Necron stuff was not updated properly, but the points were in the field manual, so that was confusing. But one thing that is not in here is the balanced data slate page for your army.
Yeah.
So now when they did the most recent balanced data slate, we were really big fans of how they'd organized it page by page. So like all like, hey, instead of having to like scan through pages and like, okay, so where's this one end? Where's the next one start? You could just go to the page and have it. The problem is these do not always match what is in the other documents. So for example, you brought up something from the Grand Narrative chat.
Yeah. So in the grand narrative chat, like there's So this year for the like, every year they do like the Discord servers where everybody can gather faction wise, battle group wise, coordinates like that. This year they're doing just one big Discord server, breaking everyone out into the different battle groups and then like faction specific channels. And then one of my favorite places, the open channel where you can go and you can smack talk with people from other battle groups and other factions, which is just fantastic because people are in there in character talking about how they want to, purge the heretics or, death of the false emperors like that. Like, awesome. Just so much fun. But, there's also been discussions about the game rules updates like that. And this is how I was originally aware of the new faction packs and those changes because there was no Warcom article on the 22nd when they published this stuff. They just kind of dropped it and let people find it, which is not the best way to release rules updates, but whatever. But in that conversation, someone who's an orc player specifically was like, wait a minute, this kind of sucks because this changes my list around. Gazgul now takes up 15 models, I think, in a truck. So, or in a battle wagon. So I can no longer take Gazgul and a unit of boys, which, in a battle wagon, which I used to be able to do because you used to only take up 4 spots. So I was like, oh, that's weird. Went to look at this and downloaded the documents and I couldn't find it anywhere. Now, I had just missed it because they didn't highlight it in red, which they do for the changes. So it was in the faction specific document that the truck and the battle wagon and the Stampa capacity for Gazgul had changed. So now he takes up 15 spots. So you can't put him in there with, a full unit of other things, which is, I'm totally fine with that. Gazgul doesn't need to be riding around in a battle wagon. That's way too slumming it for him. But yeah, but we started looking around and I was talking with Rob about this and like, this is where Rob pointed out like, oh yeah, it's in the faction document. It's highlighted differently. Even though it says all new changes are in red, it's not in red, whatever.
Because it's not a new change. It was in the Orc errata before.
Sure. Okay. So like, sure. I'm still annoyed by the way they decide to say what's a new change because there's some of these where it's like, hey, we put out a document, then a day later we put out a new document, but we're not going to highlight any of the changes in the document that came out yesterday because they're not new changes. They were in yesterday's document, which you can't see anymore. Anyway, frustration aside, we started looking around and in the balanced data slate, it still shows that Gaz only takes up four spots in a Stampa. So now, depending on where you look, Gaz's transport capacity, how much he takes up in a vehicle, is different by vehicle and by where you look. So, like, there's still areas where they have to sync this stuff up a little bit better. I agree with you. I think it'd be better to put the balanced data slate updates for each faction in the faction pack as well. I understand that that's more upkeep and like more, more formatting and stuff, but GW is a big enough company that I like to do that work if you're going to do this.
It's the weird conflict between what is errata and what is a balance change. Yes. And errata implies like this was something that was wrong when we wrote the book and we're going to fix the error. So, for example, in the Orc Codex, in the Battle Wagon listing, it says Gazgul takes up 18 model space in a battle wagon, which means he pretty much can only ride by himself, maybe with 2 mega knobs. I think his mega knobs take up 2, but I don't think you can run a unit of just 2. So it would be a battle wagon that just has Gazgul in it. So then they updated they did errata on the codex that says it's 15. Gazgul takes up 15. And they updated the Stampa that says Gazgul takes up 15. But that's a listing on, not on Gazgul, but that's a listing on those individual vehicles in their transport section. So that's errata. Then you have the balanced data slate, which officially, I guess, overlays on top of the errata. So whatever the balanced data slate is the true version of what the change is. And that's the one that says Gazgul takes up 4 spaces in a battle wagon. He does not take up 4 spaces in a Stampa because that's not a balance issue, apparently. So he takes up, he's like a gas. He takes up as much space as is available. So a Stampa is bigger so he can fill up more space in a Stampa, apparently.
Honestly, that's the best way I've heard this explained. I have no notes. Like, honestly, that makes more sense than any of the other explanations I've heard.
Okay.
because I mean we know that orcs are fungus, so yeah, that actually makes
Yeah.
sense. That actually, yeah.
But yeah, that's the confusion here is that you have so while they have a lot of the faction rules consolidated into single documents, and that is a huge step forward.
Yes.
And I'm going to dream that that's moving us towards the goal of eventually just having all your codexes as PDFs to download. I would like to think that this is where they're moving towards, and they're kind of trying to ease people, like maybe ease the corporate people into it. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, look, it's better if we keep this all together in one place.
Yeah.
It is still not perfect because you are still going to need to play 40K. You need your main rule book, which is core rules are free. Great.
Yeah.
You need your core rule document. You need your core rule commentary, which has a lot of the rules, like your errata and commentary there. You need your faction pack, which is way better than having to have your faction pack or like your faction errata plus any whatever detachment you want to run plus whatever data sheet you want to run plus any legend stuff you want to, like this. That is definitely better. So now we're down to just a faction pack. You need the balanced data slate, and you need the Munitorum field manual, and then you may need, if you are playing in a tournament, you will need the tournament document that includes all the base sizes and any rules that are specific. So we're down to 6, 5 if you're not running in tournaments.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but we're getting better. I think the next step would be to move the balanced data slate individual faction pages into the faction pack, because then and they could be duplicated. I don't mind if you do a separate balanced data slate that has all this stuff in it, and that's why you could have the core rules one attached to the core rules or to the core rule like errata and document.
Yeah, I still think you need to have the individual like core rule errata documents like that separate as well, because there are people who play in tournaments who don't want to download each specific faction pack but still want the FAQs or the balanced data slates. That's fine. What we need to do is you need to then put it into each, like redundancy, and put it in each of these different places, which is more work, is going to require more tight controls to make sure that all of the balances are consistent. So like, you know, it's not one of those like snap your fingers, it's going to happen immediately type things, but it is a thing that needs to happen in my opinion, because then whoever's going, you know, your person who just wants to play orcs and get all of the updates for orcs can go to one place, download one document, here's everything for the orcs. Somebody who is like going to go to a tournament and wants to see all of the faction changes for everything else can go click on their faction and the main one and see the points updates, see the tournament packs, like that. So it allows you just options to be able to go through and see everything, you know, that you need. And quite honestly, like you said, yeah, hopefully this gets us more towards a digital solution where all of this is just in the app, and the app is like available and not behind a paywall, you know, or digitally available in a way that it's, you know, at least the core versions of the stuff is free and available for everybody. So
yeah. And I think there are some armies that it's a shame that this is not in the faction pack, because like Mechanicus's balanced data slate page is full, and there's a lot of like weapon stat line updates and unit updates and rewritten army rule. Gene Stealer Cults has kind of the same thing where they rewrote the army rule.
Yeah.
And it's like those should be in their faction pack, because those absolutely change how those factions play. Even something simple like the Imperial Knights, we changed one of like the main detachment for the Imperial Knights. That should be in the faction pack. Like there's you know, and not every faction has any updates from the balanced data slate. Like Leads of Votan don't. Emperor's Children do. Grey Knights don't. Drukari currently doesn't. You know, but it's like,
and you can even put it in the faction pack and just put it in a separate header, like a separate section. Be like, Dean's only come into play if you're playing with the tournament rules. That's fine. Legend stuff is marked as legends, like it. You know that, so it's, you could easily segment this stuff within the documents to make it easier and only have to go to one place for everything.
Well, that's the thing though. The balanced data slate is not technically specifically only for tournament play. Like
Yeah.
now they do say, because they say outside of Games Workshop match play and Crusade events, you can choose whether you wish to use the rules in this document or not. I can't think of anybody that doesn't want to, because usually
Sure.
they're there for a reason.
Right.
So I do think we're going to eventually get to a point. I would hope that the next pass on faction packs will include the balanced data slate pages for them. I think it just makes sense to have them there.
Yeah.
But this is I I don't necessarily want to say the perfect is the I don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good. This is
Yeah.
a good step. This is something that they needed to do. And I would like them to go a bit further with it. Also, want to note we talked a lot about like combat patrols. The combat patrols are not in that faction pack, and I'm actually fine with that, because the combat patrols are definitely more aimed at new players who are just starting out and who just have
Yeah.
this is the force I have and these are the rules to play it. You don't want to bombard them with, and here's all the rules for all the supplementary rules for your faction. They don't need that. They just
Yeah.
need the rules for their combat patrol. And there's a ton of combat patrols now. They keep releasing more of them. Outside of the ones that they sell as separate boxes, we've been getting new ones in various issues of White Dwarf, and then they're getting passed over into downloadable format. So, like, they're as much as I think Combat Patrol needs a second pass gameplay wise to be more
Yeah.
along the lines of like a spearhead type thing, they definitely have not shied away from supporting it and encouraging people to, and trying new builds and things like that. So that's good. So, yeah, I think this is like overall faction packs are a good addition. They just need to clean up the implementation and maybe consider rolling the balanced data slate. They did update one rule. There's one on the second page of the core rule updates. They just added a note saying a unit cannot make more than one normal move per phase. And that's because there were units that in some factions, I believe, that were able to chain normal moves together.
Yeah.
And so they're just basically being clear, no, you can't do that. You can make a normal move in multiple phases, but you can't do more than one a phase. Similar to you can't do more than one surge move a turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with that. It's not a huge rule, but it's just a nice clarification to have.
Yeah.
And I think that is pretty much everything at this point. We should have a Sunday update coming out just a few minutes, if it's not already here.
Yeah, so the first one they've posted is the winners of the Golden Demon from Spiel this year.
Yeah.
Which, oh my god, I did not need to feel more self-conscious about my painting abilities. But if you look at the article, there is somehow this is only the silver entry, which is crazy to me. Under 40K large vehicles, large miniatures or vehicles, there is Adam Halen's Ultramarine Redemptor Dread with like gold trim and all of this like freehand paint.
Oh god, that is beautiful.
How is that only a silver entry? Like the gold entry is good. You know, it's an orc riding a trike and stuff, but like, holy smokes, that's so good. Yeah, I gotta finish speed painting my army after this.
Yeah, it's like Golden Demon entries, like, they looked fantastic when we were looking at them at Games Day in like 2013 years ago,
and it's just gotten so much better.
Yeah, the skill of painters has just gotten amazing. But also remember, this is not necessarily the goal that everyone needs to aspire to. If this is not
definitely isn't.
Yeah, if this is not, these are display pieces. These are not play pieces.
Yeah.
Put your energy into your painting as you feel that you want to do. So again, don't feel shamed by this, but I think more than anything, feel inspired. Look at some of the things that people are doing with colors. Look at the things that people are doing with conversions. And this is great to show people who like aren't really sure, like, well, why do you like, are these any of that cool? It's like, no, look at this. People turn this into art. These are works of art. Yeah.
And I love looking at the duels and like the dioramas and stuff, like where they take multiple models and put them together. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the one that's gone up right now. I'm sure there's going to be another article here shortly, but they just dropped that one, so I imagine it's going to be a little bit later before they get the other one.
Yeah, so we won't quite know what's coming up for pre-order on Sunday. I don't think or what's going up for pre-order next week.
Yeah. I bet it's going to be models.
Most likely models and possibly some novels. That usually is the pattern.
Yes. So it'll be product to buy for sure.
There will be
Something
product to buy.
buy.
We'll see which of the various games that it is. I will bet you it's not Warcry. That's the one I will bet on because nothing has come out for Warcry in months.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
But it could be any of the other like 5 or 6 main games. 7. Like I will say they now have to have a scroll set of scroll buttons on the list of games on Warhammer Community.
Yeah.
You ever think they may have stretched themselves too thin?
I don't think so. I think they can still support them all.
Yeah.
I do think that the 3-year release cycle is probably stretching themselves too thin, but
yeah,
you could solve that by like expanding that out a little bit and lengthening out the releases a little bit.
Well, and there's a couple listed on here like Adeptus Titanicus. Is it really supported now that Imperialis is out? Same thing with Aeronautica Imperialis. Is it really a thing now that everything's been rolled into Legions Imperialis? Probably not.
It is wild to me that when you go there and you're going through the scroll bar, Blood Bowl, which is arguably one of their like top 3 or 4 games and is like getting a new edition and stuff, that it's like all the way over in the scroll bar. It's past Titanicus.
You have to
and
scroll
Imperialis.
to it.
Yeah, it's like that's a little weird. I would think that would be one that would be more front and center, but
yeah. Arbiter Ian just did a video about the history of Blood Bowl and whether the fan base kept like did all the
years
keeping
of Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have guessed that Warhammer fans are overly dramatic?
Nah, who knew?
Love you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. So anyway,
Give us money, please.
Isn't that why we're doing the deal? So to get the money to roll into the show. But anyway, thank you for listening. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll have another host or two with us in the meantime. But I think we are considering because our next episode will most likely be our first official one on the network. And I believe we are contemplating doing kind of an intro to 40K, because we're going to be exposed to a new audience and there are people who may not know a lot about 40K or know how to get into 40K. And so I think we're going to be kicking off a series, kind of getting back to our roots because we always have been focused on like new players too.
Yep.
And so this will be an opportunity to reach out to a new audience. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks looking at getting into 40K, how to get into 40K, what is 40K about, some good starting points to get into it.
Yeah. And we also have the grand narrative in 2 weeks. So I don't know when that episode's going to get slotted in, but at least myself will have the coverage from the grand narrative and all of the releases that are going on there. So yeah, that'll be coming up soon, probably after the intro episode, but
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, until then,
busy times.
Yes, it is. But until then, from both of us here right now at Preferred Enemies, I'm your host, Rob.
And Kevin.
Good night, good gaming, and let's go see what the future holds.